With us now on Six News, Jessica Nies. She is the lead upper house candidate for Legalise Cannabis at next year's South Australian state election. Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Leo. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Yeah, really nice to chat. So, your policy announcement today is your around law, especially, and you've touched on a few elements. I want to start off with this immediate cannabis amnesty that you're talking about, and it's a proposal that you say can be delivered before the state election. This is not something that has to wait until after March 2026. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. We are trying to bring in the amnesty in regards to personal use of cannabis and expunging any type of convictions in regards to cannabis offences, meaning that the police would immediately need to stop pres pressing charges and chasing criminal convictions against anyone who is using the small amounts of cannabis for medicinal or personal uses. And that includes being able to grow cannabis in our own homes to provide the immediate amnesty for the people that are suffering so bad and cannot afford to purchase this sort of medicine.
And then what are you hoping to do after the election? Let's say you are lucky enough to be able to get a seat. What would you be immediately pushing for government action? And look, we have to be honest here. Realistically, what would you be pushing the malinauskas government to doing? Because we do expect them to be re-elected.
Absolutely. We are expecting the re-election of the Labor government here in SA. And once the election is over and we have won ourselves a seat in the upper house, we do want to push for a statewide national drug summit to occur, which will then bring in the expertise from around the country, and hopefully we can recognise the issues that are underlying causes for other substance abuse, such as alcohol, tobacco, and illicit substances here in South Australia.
There's a number of other policies that we've looked through as well. You've got a police officer compensation fund. You want to transform the Port Augusta prison. What kind of cost are we looking at for all of this?
Look, it is going to be fairly costly, but we do believe that by being able to deregulate the current hemp industry and also have an open cannabis market for adult use here in South Australia, it will bring in enough money to actually have these policies funding themselves. So we won't be taking any money that from the South Australian public to fund what we're proposing here today.
Do you think you are able to kind of move the I guess the parliament and of course especially the Labor MPs on this? I know we haven't really it hasn't been that much talk about cannabis in the SA Parliament over the past 4 years, but when you're in there and you'd be pushing for that very specifically, do you see from the outside now that there could be room for Labor to move on this and for other members that you might need to vote
100%.
off?
100%. The current government itself has recently had, of course, Tammy Franks. Her bill has been up in Parliament. Fortunately, it was not passed in the last few weeks of Parliament here in SA. But she has obviously established a committee here with the Labor Minister, Mr. Ben Hood, who is actually on board with supporting the cannabis industry here in SA. So there's quite a few members of Parliament that are currently swiftly changing their minds and reconsidering the position that cannabis poses here in South Australia and across the whole country.
There's so many issues going on in South Australia right now. We know there's cost of living, we know housing are just some of the two issues in South Australia and around the nation that have been top two. How many do you think, I guess, care enough about legalizing cannabis to put you as number one in the upper house? Because that is ultimately what you're going to need, people who care about it enough when they're in that upper house ballot.
Absolutely. And I mean, the results from the last state election, as well as the last federal election, are showing that we're gaining momentum. People are looking to change. They are changing away from the major parties and they are looking to support minor independent parties where their views align with the policies of the party. The best thing that we can offer the South Australian public at the moment is the fact that we are no longer going to be known as a single issue policy party. We're launching multiple policies this week that I think will benefit all South Australians.
And then just on that final step, actually getting in, it's a smaller upper house than maybe some other states. Again, definitely we expect Labor's vote to be pretty strong. So I guess what realistically, just election numbers wise, are you looking in are you looking at to actually get in? Is there a benchmark? Is there a particular way you're going to run this campaign? There's only 4 months to go, which is a relatively short time frame when you
Yes.
consider, most people probably aren't following politics over summer as well.
Absolutely. Well, we've definitely got the committee together, and we believe that we can achieve a 4% of the vote here in South Australia, which is absolutely gettable. The results that we've had previously in our first election that we ran in 2022 definitely show that a strong number of people are giving us that first preference vote. So we believe that we can actually gain momentum and build on that percentage, and maybe even get closer to 5% in this one.
All right, we'll be following it very closely. Really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us on Six News.
Thanks for having me, Leo. Pleasure.